All right, guys, GDP came out this morning and it was awesome. Actually, if you're watching this video, it's probably Friday morning. So it came out yesterday, came in at 2.9% real GDP growth versus the estimate of 2.6. What does real GDP growth? Well, it's nominal minus inflation. Now, a couple factors probably help this. Inflation has been tame. In fact, prices have been pretty not growing for a few months now. And I believe the other prices from the past are starting to boost itself up because you can't possibly have everything come immediately when inflation hits. So that's great news for the US economy. We might be back into growth. I don't know what it means about the future, but this is definitely a positive sign for the US economy. Inflation seems to be a lot more tame than it used to be, but we still have a very low unemployment rate, which is an inflationary metric. Because when an unemployment rate is very low, employers have to pay more money to get good quality workers in. When they pay more money to get good quality workers in, what happens to the cost of goods and services they provide? They have to go up to accommodate for that higher cost. I'm renovating a house right now. The cost that I have today versus my renovation I did on a house 3 or 4 years ago for my personal residence are night and day difference. Nosebleed difference. So that's the way it goes. Now, for those of you who like to look at GDP and say, look, GDP is great, stocks are going to do great. Just relax. I want to show you something here. This is GDP from 1966. In 1966, it was 815 billion in the US. That's what that is. Okay? From 1966 until 1982, stocks did nothing. I believe the S&P started at 110, finished at 107. So basically did nothing. And this is 1982. 3.3 trillion. That is 4 times larger in those 16 or 17 years. And yet, that's for GDP, and yet stocks went sideways. Why? Overvaluation. In the short run, stocks are a voting machine. In the long run, they're a weighing machine. So, if you're new to this channel and you want to learn more about why things work, why things happen in the long run, subscribe to the channel. If you have friends who are like everybody else and look at just the news in the short run, share this video. If you'd like to hear funny reactions to things having to do with money, which is typically a very boring topic, follow our channel. Yesterday, I did a video on Tesla, and I talked about how Tesla is a very popular comment I got. I got many texts from friends. We talked about Tesla saying they're a technology company. I said, listen, if your mom has sex for money, it makes her a whore, no matter what you call it. She can be president of the United States, a doctor, it does not matter. She's still a whore. That's the way it is. So these are the comments I make because we've taken ads off of our videos because we want to concentrate on you guys doing 2 things. 1, enjoying our videos without interruption. And 2, if we're going to put an ad in there, it's going to be for our amazing software that's right here on everythingmoney.com that will actually make you a smarter investor, a better investor, and more money in the long run. So back to GDP. Guys, I believe that the U.S. economy is going to grow for the foreseeable future. The U.S. will do everything in its power to make that happen, whether it's printing money or whatever. Are there issues involved with that? Absolutely. But the U.S. is still a growing economy. We still have people killing themselves to get into this country every single year. And I like that. Does that mean it's going to last forever? Not necessarily. For those of you who worry about China, guys, China is a fast-growing country. If you're worried about India, India is a fast-growing country. But remember, per person, we have a much higher income in this country than in those countries. They have much more growth to accomplish, and they have more people. Their economies, they have 5 times more people than we do. Their economies naturally will become bigger than ours in the very near future. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Look at Great Britain. We surpassed Great Britain, and yet Great Britain is still a great country today. They're still a growing country. They're still a growing economic powerhouse, and they're still one of the best economies in the world. Just because you're number 2 doesn't make you crappy. Stop buying into that whole propaganda of China's taking over. No, they're not. They're going to be, and by the way, they very well could they could take over as the number 1 economy in the world, but it doesn't mean we are any worse because they are. It's okay. We are very, very, very strong economically. If you want people to make more money here, what has to happen to jobs? Jobs have to go somewhere else in order to be able to afford the products that people in this country want to enjoy. A strong GDP is wonderful. On the outside, What does it mean? Not everything is good at all times. Not everything is bad at all times, right? So low unemployment rate. It's a great thing. Well, but then you have inflation to worry about. Economists will tell you that full unemployment, the unemployment they want, is around 5.5% or 6%. Guys, in the last 23 years, very few months of time has our unemployment rate been 5.5% or 6% or higher. The vast majority of the time it's been lower, which is why I was a little confused over the last 20 years, 22 years that we haven't had more inflation. But now it's starting to rear its ugly head, and that's fine. It's just part of the cycle of life. It's part of the cycle of economies. And the US will continue to grow just like it did in the 70s and 80s during during high inflation and a major recession and oil crisis. That's just the way it works. So if you want to understand these things and not get fearful of them, watch our channel, subscribe to our channel, because I'm a very big believer in the more you learn, the less you fear. Think about everything you have done in your life. As you understood it more and more and more, you feared it less and less and less. If I told you right now, here's a scalpel, go perform open heart surgery, you should be scared shitless. But if I gave you 4 years of training in med school, and then 3 years of residency, and then 5 years of training in open heart surgery, you would very, very much feel comfortable. In fact, if I just gave you 4 years of medical school, you're gonna be a lot more comfortable with it than you are today. Does that mean you're competent enough to do it? No. I'm learning all the time still too. I read every day. I think about things differently every single day. If you look at our software, we have our 8 pillars. Our 8 pillars have changed since I started the software. These weren't always the 8 pillars. And as time goes on, the things I pay attention to matter more. And in our software, that's why you have your own 8 pillars to do. So before the end of the video, these are the 3 things I want you to do. 1, subscribe to the channel. 2, share this video with somebody you know. And 3, watch at the very end for our explanation of how you can use this software to help make you more money. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your time. The Everything Money community has already helped thousands of people exactly like you to help them understand financials, understand investing, and understand the emotional side of everything to make better decisions for your future and your money. What you get with the software is my 8-pillar process, our stock analyzer tool, which was used over 1.3 million times in 2022, and all the other stock screeners that the Everything Money community of intelligent investors use to find their value plays. These are the exact tools that Mo and I use every single day to find the investments that make the most sense to us. And you also get access to Mo and I and all the thousands of other Everything Money investors, so you don't have to do this alone, because that is the hardest part about investing, is being on your own. Make the choice I made. Invest in yourself for a little over $1 a day to make these decisions easier and smarter as time goes on. Here's the catch. We're not going to give you fish. I'm here to teach you how to fish. If you're looking for a magic bullet, we're not the site for you. We're not the channel for you. If you're looking to become a smarter investor who can find their own process, welcome home. Get started now, risk-free for 30 days at everythingmoney.com.